welcome to The Sinner and the Saint. I'm Melissa Bell.
And I'm Allison Kane.
And today we're going to talk about spilling beans. And don't spill your bitter beans.
Yeah, we're not talking about gossip.
No.
Not
well,
that
maybe
kind
we
of
are.
The beans.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are.
We don't know where we're going with this. But how this all came about was, well, because I was really tired one morning. And actually the night before I was super tired too. And so the tiredness spilled over into the next morning.
I've done that.
Right? So my husband gave us this great coffee machine for Christmas. And I think it was this year or last year. And it's programmable, which I know that's not fancy for everybody else. But for me it was, because I would have to get up in the morning and push the button. So we set the coffee.
First world problems.
Right? The night before. And now I don't have to climb out of bed at 6:30 and push the coffee button. And so we set the coffee for the night before, and I was prepping the coffee the night before, and the next morning I'm up early and the coffee machine starts to brew because I'm up before the coffee button goes, but it's just the fact that I don't have to get up for the coffee. I don't know. It's a mental thing.
It's a freedom.
Yeah.
You feel a freedom in that.
So I'm up and I'm sitting on the couch, and y'all, first of all, let's go ahead and lay some groundwork. This is going to sound like I'm super holy and super Christian. I'm not, okay? But I get up early. And I happen to be just reading through Mark with Lisa Harper, one of her studies. And I'm listening to the coffee machine, and I'm like, man, it's really angry this morning. It is making a lot of noise. But I'm like, whatever. So I'm just continue, and I'm doing a little study, and I feel like I need to go check on the coffee. I don't know what's going on in there. So I go in there, y'all. I did not empty the carafe from the day before. So there was probably a quarter of a carafe left. And I didn't empty it when I made coffee the night before. And so now my cup overfloweth. But also it was mixed with yesterday's cold, bitter coffee. Now my fresh coffee is in the bitter coffee carafe. So now we have a hot mess, literally all over the counter, had spilled under the microwave.
Oh, gosh, yes. Oh.
And I'm trying to be morning ninja, which is a joke at my house because I am not a ninja. I'm so loud. And I'm trying to clean up this coffee mess. It's not like I can just leave it spilling.
That is so funny.
I mean, y'all, it was a mess. And then, of course, here's the little God wink. God's like, yes, Melissa, that is why I asked you to get up and hang out with me in the morning and talk about all the things, right? Let's talk about the stuff that's on your heart that's ugly and bitter that you need to give to me, all the things that you're mad about, all the frustrations. Let's go ahead and give those to me so we can start with a fresh hot cup of coffee in the morning. And when you go see all of my people in the morning, you're not being angry.
I love it. I love how God can just use those everyday, ordinary things to teach us such a cool lesson.
Right?
And it's not like it's new.
Right. Yes.
Right?
No, I need to learn the lesson a lot. So he shows me different ways.
It's the reminder, right? So often, even in a Bible study or in a message from church, it's not a new concept. It's the same things recycled over and over all the years for the most part. But it's a reminder.
Yep.
A refresher course.
Oh, it was a fresh, hot, and bitter course.
Well, that is the perfect story for this question that I wanted to throw into our bitter beans today. How might your relationship with God and your prayer life be changed if you brought to God what is in you?
The bitterness, the anger.
Instead of what you thought should be in you.
Oh.
Anyone? Can I get an amen?
Yes, so interesting.
How often do you go to God and you're just trying to be this
super Christian?
Yeah, Lord, thank you so much for all my many blessings, and it's a hard time right now, but
my cup overfloweth with goodness.
Instead of I am just so teed off right now. It's so angry or so mad or so sad.
You want to know what ticks me off, God? Let me tell you what ticks me off. Yes.
Yeah.
God can handle that.
Totally.
Y'all, if God can handle me, he can handle what you got for him.
facts.
Right?
I mean, like, hello, have you read the Psalms and heard what David said half the time?
Oh, for real. So, is there a time that someone spilled their bitter beans on you, or when you spilled your bitter beans on somebody?
Oh, gosh, let me count the ways. Yes. I mean, so often. And I think the times where it's most shocking, of course, is when it's a stranger.
You mean
right?
like when you go off on a stranger?
No, when they spill their bitter beans out on me. You know, it's like, those are the most shocking.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. This is so bad, y'all.
Okay, tell me.
But I'm like, they don't know that I'm a Christian podcaster, so I can be all sent on them, and they don't know.
Let me make sure I cover up my shirt.
Don't look at my bumper sticker.
Don't look at my bumper sticker. Don't look at where I go to church.
I don't have a church bumper sticker. I do have a sinner and a saint one, though.
So those are always like the most shocking, I think, because when people that are close to me, you know, maybe family or whatever, spill their bitter beans, I'm not really shocked, but sometimes it can be more hurtful.
Yeah.
You know, depending on the person, depending on the situation. Like, it doesn't really hurt when a stranger is that way. It just makes me really mad.
Oh, do you let him have it?
I mean,
as only Allison can.
I'm sure. Oh, for sure. I mean, in a sassy, southern, sweet kind of way where, as my friend says, I'm not sure if you just gave me a compliment or cussed me out.
Oh, I love it.
Somebody was telling me the other day, they said, oh my gosh, I just have this inability to, when someone is rude to someone else, I just step in and I just want to, you know, defend that person and call that other person out and tell them how rude they were. And I said, I used to do that, but now even if the other person who was rude is standing there, I actually talk to the person who was like the victim of the rudeness. And I say, I would like to apologize for the way that you were just treated. Even if the person that's, you know, I don't even care about that, but I only acknowledge the person who has been hurt and offended for no reason.
Okay.
I acknowledge them only, and I apologize for the actions of the person before.
I'm sorry that person was a jackwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I hope that you have a good day and you don't let this, you know, ripple throughout your day, because you're doing a great job.
How does the victim respond?
Oh my gosh. They're like, you just see this. They almost take a deep breath. Uh-huh. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
You de-escalated for them.
Yes, because, you know, if we don't, I think what I've seen, because someone's done that for me, it does stop the ripple effect, because it's like you are acknowledged, someone has acknowledged that you were treated unfairly, which is always a good feeling.
Yes.
And you've received an apology, not from the person, but do you even really want to talk to the person who was rude to you again? Probably not.
Right. If you give me an apology, I'll be like,
yeah,
well, you
like,
can take your
whatever.
apology and step it where the sun don't shine.
Right. And then also someone was kind to you. So it generally, you know, seems to reset the person's emotions and countenance. So I feel like I know it's done this for me, and it seems to have that same effect on others when I've extended it. It stops that negative ripple effect.
I love it. And you know, like, my natural instinct is to go claw the eyes out of the person that is the offender. Mm-hmm. But really, like, you're just getting in a cage with an insane, like, you know, I don't know, hyped up lion at that point.
And honestly, you're giving them what they want.
Right.
You know, you think about your toddlers.
Yeah.
They're always like, do not reinforce negative behavior.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's what we're doing when we go after the person who is being offended or is being offensive, instead of going to the person who was offended.
Right.
And loving and caring them. You're not changing that jackleg.
Yeah.
You can pray about them later, and you should, that God will soften their heart.
Be like, God, did you see that jackwagon? I mean, there are other words that we could use, but jackwagon is my Jesus term. Did you see that jackwagon? Like, go ahead and, you know what I'm saying? Like, I stepped aside so you could go ahead and throw a lightning bolt. I'm just saying.
And let's also just be honest. These days, if you go after the person who is being such a jackleg,
yeah,
you may get shot or stabbed. So let's just avoid that.
Right?
Yeah. So, just talk to the person who...
Well, how did the jackleg respond when you did that?
I don't even look at them. Like, I don't know. And some of the times, they're not there. Some of the times they're off to the side, like waiting on their order.
So you send them like little eyeball daggers?
I'm quite sure I have done that. I really try not to. I try to totally just completely ignore them.
Yeah.
Like, your actions are not worthy of any of my attention.
You have given me something to strive for, because I'm going to tell you what would happen. I would be so loud. I'm like, I am so sorry, Mr. Piss Pants over here just spilled all over you. Like, he needs and I would do it so loud to make sure that he knows that I'm mad at him. Mm-hmm. But like, what a more powerful way that you're doing it. Well done.
It's taken years of practice and doing it the wrong way.
Right?
So.
Like, because honestly, half the time I'm like, I wish you would.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, that's my problem.
I know.
I wish you would.
Always ready for a fight.
I know, that's what my niece said. We were walking the other day into a store. I don't really go shopping on the weekends. I try not to, because there are a lot of you out there and I don't have a whole lot of patience. And so somebody slowed down. Like, you could tell there could easily be a confrontation. And I was like, I hope you will. I'm getting out of my car to walk across the store, but I'm going to make some eye contact. She's like, yeah, Melissa, you don't know who's in that car, if they have a gun. I was like, I wish they would. She's like, but do you really? What if they had a gun and you got shot? I'm like, all right. That's no fun.
Yes, we do not. That would be a big party foul.
For them, but also, yes.
Okay, who would be the center on this podcast? Just a podcast called The Saint would not be a good one. I need you around, okay?
I'm just saying, y'all, you don't know the crazy person that you're slowing down for. Like, I might be 5 feet tall, but...
Well, I think, again, this goes back to our question. What if we take, like, all of that anger and revved upness. I love making up a word. Yeah. That comes from somewhere deep in our hearts, right?
Yeah.
And if we take that to the Lord.
All my angst.
Yes. Right. The anxiety and all of that, how different we look. And I think, that's what happens when we just pour it all out in front of the Lord, instead of coming to Him the way we think we should look. Because He already knows. Like, that is like the crazy irony of all this. We come to Him all dolled up with our makeup on and our self tanner and our whatever and our lip plumper and our cutest shoes, and we're like, hey God, things are going great.
Hey, I'm all put together.
And He's literally got X-ray vision going, oh girl, them underwears have holes in them, and that self tanner is real splotchy on the back of that left leg. And that lip plumper is about to wear off in 5 minutes and 32 seconds.
And just the right side.
Yeah. I mean, He already knows who we are. And so how intimate and amazing how great He must feel as our Father in heaven when we just come to Him like, this is what I got, God. I got these little, lumpy lips, and I'm splotchy today, and my shoes don't match, and my underwear have holes in them, and that's all I got today. That's all I can offer you today.
Well, I love that, because I do have lots of conversations with God in the moment, because that is the only way I am not in prison for homicide. Speaking of it's a trap, like we talked about last week, I was in Target and I was just like, I don't like to be in Target. I don't like to be out shopping, and I have a cart, and I don't get carts often, guys, because I will ram you with the cart. I will. I'm going to hit you. It is now a weapon in my hands, right? And so I'm like
Okay.
walking through Target and I'm like, dear God, these people are frustrating me and they are just so unaware of all that they are. And I'm sure they're thinking the same about me. And I'm like, God, just please be with me. Like, calm my heart. Don't let me hit somebody with this cart today. So we have these
This
conversations.
is a public service announcement. If you see Melissa in Target, be kind, or she may run over you with her
Like,
shopping cart.
They're just oblivious, you know? They like leave their car right there out in the main aisle, and I'm just trying to get in and out.
Okay, let me give you another perspective.
Okay.
That person that does that
Yes.
may have just lost their father
Yes.
and has literally no idea what they're doing.
That's what
They
I said.
forgot they're pushing a cart.
Yeah.
They even have forgotten what in the HE double hockey sticks they're doing in Target because they are so overcome with
Was
grief.
it your cart?
No, not
I was
that
like,
time.
don't get that shirt because it was not a good shirt for you. No.
But
Yes. And that's why I'm like, dear
That's
God,
why-
dear God, please just like calm me down.
yeah,
Like I'm,
yeah.
because like I'm fight or flight right now. Y'all know I can get there pretty quick. And so I'm like,
I
God.
love that though, because you're saying, I mean, you're doing exactly that. You're like, Lord, help me. This is where I am.
Yes.
I am going to run these people over. You're not like, oh Lord, these people are so nice. Let me pray for them. You're not trying to be somebody that you're not. And you are offering him the
best,
truth,
yes.
right? The best that you have. And I think that often we get caught up in, what do I even have to offer the Lord?
Mm.
Is it good enough? Why even bother?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I think just offering yourself just as you are, like God made you, right? He knows how to put you back together.
Yeah.
If anybody knows how to put you back together, it's God.
Okay, I am totally just like last week. Gonna throw something out there for you.
Okay. Wow.
Because, wow, Melissa came up with these the past 2 weeks of topics. She's really been helping me out here since my brain's not as working.
That's why we have it's a tribe of bitter beans and not like this, oh, it's the armor of God.
I love it though. So, one of the things that I've recently gotten from the Lord again, and because I'm going to read this, is called The Offering.
Okay.
And that the Lord whispered to my heart in my quiet time with Him. And then I think we should really talk about it and some of the issues. So, anyway.
Did you write this?
I did.
Okay.
This one as well. What will I offer the Lord today? It seems as if it should not be a mere hand-me-down. But do I have anything original? Certainly it should be handed over willingly, but on occasion my hands clench too tightly. What do I have that is worthy and sufficient for such grand love? Is it worth the effort, even if the gift feels insufficient and meager? What will I offer the Lord today? Will it be humility, time, gratitude, stillness, repentance, obedience, tears or laughter, conversation, reverence, or intentional joy? A warm and audible voice whispers, anything given with a heart of sincerity will do. Generously, careful not to find yourself so absorbed and distracted, frantically collecting nuts like noisy squirrels, forgetting to embrace the moment of offering because of hurried planning of something that isn't promised tomorrow. Carefully, not as an acorn slamming to the ground from a neighboring tree, instead like the gentle release of a single leaf that falls effortlessly to the ground from a fall tree. Give the offering gracefully to Him. God can handle both, but a slow, tender, gentle offering shows great faith, strong trust, and deep growth.
Wow.
And I think I struggle with this sometimes. I feel like the things that I offer over to the Lord that I want to give Him, I think that's what we're talking about today. Like, it doesn't feel original. It feels old. It feels tired. It feels like I've always like, take this sadness or take this anger. It's the same thing over and over again, and it's not original. And I don't always want to hand it over. Sometimes I want to sit in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just holding on tightly instead of literally handing over to Him what truly is inside of me. You know? And I think if we could practice handing it over so gently. I can still picture the leaf that I saw just like, you know how they sweep from side
Yes.
to side when they fall, just this one little gentle leaf. If I could just not throw it down all the time, although he can handle that.
Right.
And sometimes I do throw it down out of anger because that's the only way I'm going to release it from my hands. All right? It's like, oh, all right, if I have to, here, take it. And he can do that. But if I could just gently and gracefully hand it over and be okay with, this is what I got. And it's not always pretty.
Right.
But this is who I am and how it deeply changes our relationship and our prayer life with him when we do.
I love that you're saying that. And, you know, I'm wondering if part of that has to do with you growing up in church and you being pretty put together. I mean, she's not put together, y'all, but she puts it together better than a lot of us, right? So,
no.
But I mean, you grew up in church. You knew how to be. You knew how to act. You were taught all these things, and so you've always presented, or tried to always present that to him. Where I didn't know.
True.
And so I'm like, hey, buddy. What's going on up there? You a little confused? What happened down here? Like, what is going on up in here? You have
I love that.
made me a mess. You have made this disaster. Like, here I am. Now what? And so it's just interesting to hear that.
Oh, wow. That is such a cool insight. You're right. I am breaking free from all the years of legalism and the journey and the way it's supposed to look and coming before buttoned up. Yeah. Whereas you don't have that baggage of...
But we also should button it up a little bit.
and you just feel that freedom to just be like, okay, dude, like, this is what I got. Let's work on this.
Right.
And I am finally, I've been getting there over the years.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you're releasing your legalism and your need to always present as you were taught. And I am trying to not button it up, but like allow God to clean it up. Right? Like that. Yeah. We talked about what fake persona or what have you embraced. And I embraced the very rigid, harsh, back up, leave me alone. That's who I was. And authentically, that's who I was, but that's not where God wants to keep me. So he's polishing me.
That is so beautiful. I love that we don't script these.
I know.
Because God just really does some incredible things. Like, you would just be so surprised, listeners, at how often we're just like, dang,
what?
God is so incredible. And we purposely don't talk about everything and surprise each other ahead of time and don't really have a script, because we want this to be a conversation where God truly comes into it and we have these incredible revelations through our conversation, intentional conversations over certain topics. But again, like we mentioned last week, anything to an extreme is not a good thing.
Right.
So although we may be exhibiting two different things, when we take those to an extreme, they're obviously working against us. But when we find that middle road, and there is so much growth and so much peace that occurs there.
I love it. So, hey, y'all, if you are either breaking free from some legalistic background or religious expectations, or if God is polishing you a little smoother, we hope that you will spill the beans with God. Bitter, beautiful, whatever it is. And try not to spill your bitter beans on other people, because you might get Allison's response or you might get mine.
Ooh. You just never know.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us this week on The Sinner and the Saint.